After the 3 billion euro time travel nonsense, which calls itself Endgame, the Marvel Cinematic Universe started a new phase. A phase of mediocrity, yes, but also, and actually very interesting, a phase of multiple universes. Today I want to elaborate the idea of having a multiverse, its consequences, and who did it wrong and who did it right. Hello, I'm Attila, your host, and you're listening to Movie Prosecutioners. Let's go. There are a lot of concepts how and how not multiverses could exist. But to break it down, a multiverse is like having multiple universes which are developing parallel to each other. So we have like our universe. After the Big Bang, it was starting to grow bigger and bigger. But in which kind of space does it grow? So the idea is basically you have a big space, and then there are multiple little spaces which are growing, multiple little universes which are growing in another big space. So you could kind of see this like this scene in Finding Nemo. You have like the fishes, the worlds, the universes. You have plastic bags around them, and then there are in another water container. So the water container is like the space around the universes, and the little plastic bags are the universes, and the fish are the world that is developing in these spaces. So you could kind of imagine it like that. That would mean that there's a lot of worlds around us, like not even worlds, there are a lot of universes around us, which opens up a lot of space for speculation and for what these universes could be, like how are they created. Maybe there's a lot of life, maybe there's no life at all. Maybe the time when one cell was grabbed by another, and then we had suddenly multicellular life, which was creating at the end like further and further more and more intelligent life. Maybe this has never happened. Maybe there was never a Big Bang, so we have a very concentrated matter, very small and very small scale, somewhere in the middle of the plastic bag, and there was never created more than that. So multiverses open a lot of crazy ideas that you could create, because basically everything is possible. Maybe there are endless multiverses where endless possibilities could exist in. So obviously we're speaking here speculative, because when I researched the topic, I actually found out that there's no evidence of these universes. The way our universe expands, there's never been like any kind of collision with another universe, and without evidence for theory, it's hard to like come around the idea, okay, how do we prove that this is actually a possibility? So there's no real research on the topic of multiverses. It's more like a philosophical idea. But there are some interesting problems that come with this idea, and there are some interesting use cases for storytelling. The reason why the MCU uses multiverses is quite easy. You have like these characters everybody loves Iron Man, everybody loves Captain America, and you have actors, different actors who play this role, actors who age, actors like, I don't know. The problem is, if actors age, for example, it's harder and harder to recreate roles in the same way and make a like consistent storytelling over a lot of movies. So this is kind of a problem for the universe to grow in a like continuously coherent way. So a multiverse is actually such a great idea for movies that are interconnected, because the moment you have a multiverse, you can just put these characters in other worlds, make movies with them, develop their character further, and then put them back together when they actually need to meet. So the problem with the cinematic universe, with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, is obviously that at some point you wonder, okay, this is like such a big threat for the world. Why do not other superheroes intervene in this fight? Why is not Iron Man with Captain America when they beat up, I don't know, some kind of villain who wants to destroy the world? Because Iron Man can see the whole world with his computers and so on and so on. So multiverses are a good idea to develop special stories around characters, and you can have like a certain freedom as a writer, because obviously, you're in a different universe, so you don't have to think about all the stuff that happened beforehand, which is quite nice for you as a writer, I guess. And but we have a certain problem with the multiverses. So imagine we go back to like the idea of plastic bags and fishes. Now we are not in a water container in like a small clinic, a small place for like a dentist place where there are a few fishes in a water container, but now we are in the ocean. And the ocean has all these fishes that you can see, and imagine like all of them have plastic bags around them. All of these fishes are their own universes. And now let's go a bit further. Now imagine like these universes sometimes are very, very similar. So imagine like sardines. Like imagine a school of sardines. A school of sardines, every sardine is very similar to the other one. They're like, I don't know, 10,000s of these fishes. They eat the same, they move very similar, they are like always together, and they have kind of a collective intelligence. Like if you ever have seen like dolphins hunt them, they move in a way like all together so that they're kind of protected by the sheer amount of fishes that there are. And that's kind of the crazy part about it. Let's just imagine all of these sardines are worlds. So they're like very similar. They have the same, I don't know, father, mother. They have like the same people living in there. They have the same food that they were eating. So all of these worlds are very similar, but maybe they change in just a few aspects of them. And so a few aspects sometimes can have a big impact on the world, but like on your personal world. So imagine your mother and your father died in a car crash, just hypothetically. And that was just because one of the drivers has not slept, like next to them has not slept enough to actually is like being awake when he was driving, and so they had a collision, and so father and mother died. Normally, like all the other days, this truck driver who hasn't slept much, slept enough. And just from one sardine to another sardine, this bus driver actually has slept enough this night as well. And so in this world, your father and mother are still alive. For you, this is like a gigantic impact. For the world, obviously, it's not a big impact if two people of 7 to 8 billion people are alive or not. So just by jumping from one to another world, like your whole emotional compass, like everything that is like happening to you is reversed, and it's not important anymore, and you can just switch and you have father and mother back. Now imagine the consequences for your emotional impact or your emotional stand on all of this. If every decision could have like no stake in it, if nobody is meaning something for you, because you can just jump to another world and have them back in the way they were before you did something, your actions actually do not mean anything anymore. So also when the hero is dying, and then we just jump to another universe and the hero is back, or we just take a hero that is the same from one universe and get it to the other universe, and then he's alive, and then you have like the same kind of social interactions, you just got back in time kind of, then your investment in the story is just diminishing as hell. You're not interested. Like, if somebody dies, this has to have an impact for you. Like, you have to feel with the characters. You have to feel with the characters who are left behind. Like, you are one of the characters who are left behind. And if you could just reverse this story, you're gonna feel nothing. You maybe even feel betrayed. And this is what's happening in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is a place where you're not having confidence in the coherence of the story, and you fear that this is not gonna be impactful anymore, what you see. And one part of this, of the cinematic universe, one cool part of it was that there is consequences in between the movies and in between storytelling. If somebody dies, he dies for all of them. If somebody is mean, like they remember it. And so is life in general. You remember, you have consequences. And the big problem here is, if you don't feel to have consequences anymore of your actions, and if you feel the actions of your heroes have no consequences anymore, and them dying has no consequence anymore, then you are not invested. And this is gonna be a big problem for the Marvel Cinematic Universe in the near future. But I didn't elaborate it, the multiverse, just so that we can bash it. Obviously, there is a series and a way you can make this work, and you can make it an impactful story, even though you have this non-consequence for the character. Or let's rather say, you have a different consequence because you have no consequence. So, welcome to nihilism. And welcome to Rick and Morty. So, Rick and Morty is a show that gives you a character in Rick who knows that he can just switch worlds and be without any consequence for his action. And the sad part about it is, he is not happy about that. He did it so often, and he recreated his friends and his family so often, and he switched from so many places to so many other places, that he does not know what is like he still kind of knows what is right, but there's like an ambiguity in his character, a way that he is like not feeling anymore for he doesn't see importance anymore. Everything is nothing for him, because what can have value if everything is exchangeable? If gold you could have like billions and billions, and it wouldn't care. If a faction you could have whenever you want, wherever you want, what does it count? Like, what makes things count is that they are like, I don't know, that they're special for you. If you have a billion parents and a billion daughters, how do you make out for, like, how do you see them as special to you? Like, I don't know, like, not just the rarity of things make things important, but your connection to them. And if even a relationship with a person is just the same as in all the other worlds, and you can just switch to have the kind of relationship that you want, you don't have consequences when you do something wrong. You just switch to another world, and there you did the right thing with what you did. Like, you will have a way to see the world which does not, like, which is not the reality. And this kind of being lost in what is the right values, like every value you might have is like just a construct of yourself, and there's no faith in the world anymore. There's no faith in like reason if you don't need it. What Rick and Morty makes so special is that they kind of try to understand that what it means that nothing means anything. And Rick is somebody who still wants to be seen as like an important person to people. Like, he has friends and he has a family, and even thought he's trying to destroy the idea of Morty. Like, Morty is some like his grandson who's going on adventures with him, and he wants to kind of have the affection of this kid, and he wants that the kid sees him as somebody cool and important, because he even thought like all his life he has seen things nobody has experienced before. He does need like some kind of anchor in the world, and his struggle with, okay, he could just exchange everything and be again on his own and I don't know, get the affection of somebody else with some kind of trick that he can pull. This kind of, possibility that's always with him, and the kind of need of affection of his family members is kind of the drill of the series. He makes like rules for him so he can live and accept how he's living. And this is like such a crazy series and makes me realize how extremely interesting a multiverse could be, because obviously the kind of reaction Rick has is something that we already experience in our world. We could just switch countries, we could go somewhere else and be somebody else, just create another version of ourselves for new people and try to eradicate what we have done before. And we can do this very easily because we have so many countries, we have a big world. Obviously we have the internet, and there's some versions of us always, like recorded and whatever, but not everybody has that, not everybody has the access to that. So basically I could go to Vietnam and live like a life that nobody would know who I am, and I could tell stories about myself which are not true. So to a certain extent, this kind of, you can just go away and make a different kind of life and live in life without consequences. It is possible to die, and it makes us like it makes us more liberal, but it makes us unbounded to our own actions. And this kind of non-consequence is, I think, one of the worst parts of being alive at the moment. Because obviously you learn ethics a lot by how people react to your actions. If you do something wrong, people say to you, you did something wrong, or they, like, I don't know, make you understand that this is not cool in different kind of ways, in ignoring you and being mad at you and whatever. But you learn something by the reaction of other people. If you can just reverse everything, nothing of this has like a meaning to you. And this is kind of already part of our international lives that we live. And yeah, I think this is like a crazy experience. I love thinking and talking about the multiverse. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed as well, and you have a great time watching Rick and Morty, or maybe even Spider-Man into this Spider-Verse, into the multiverse. Like, these kind of animation movies are also incredible. And yeah, I hope I could shed some light on how I think the MCU will face more and more problems in the future. And yeah, hope you feel informed. Hope you enjoyed the episode, and see you next time. Bye.